Let there be light, and there was light. Words of the said God, Mother Eve. So we have been looking at the positions of the gods. Oh, that reminds me. Let's just pull up this okay, my reference on I get this, I think it's called the art. Oh, art on the Bible, yes, which is what I use. It's kind of really good because I can see how many times the word like created, God created, or whatever. I could see those references on there, and I think that's brilliant. Yes, okay. It'd be good for me to get this word, this calculator that I was talking about, where I could just do all the numerical values. I don't know if it'd be so much fun because I'm old school. Okay. All right. But yes, now welcoming the opportunity to advance myself in any way that I can, to be part of this contribution of mankind when Mother Eve says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So I want that hour to be um, to be part of me too. Okay. All right. So which it's already, Mother Eve has everything written already. Everything is written. It was written beginning and end. But like I was saying, that reminds me, beginning and end. And I believe that whatever happens in the middle, this is why we have the word believe, which is what I have just completed a presentation on the word believe, and which has the word lie in the middle of it, with here in the middle of the word believe, literally in the middle of the word believe, is a fat lie. Well, it's up to us to make it a fat one or a skinny one or a one of with anorexia or obesity. It is up to us. It is, as I say, what we are being fed. It depends on how much energy that we give that lie that we are being fed. It depends on the receptivity or the reception rather that we give it. Then it becomes what it becomes. That's what Christ was talking about. That's what Christ was talking about when he says, whatever you ask for, believe in your heart that it is already so, according to my Father which is in heaven, and so on. Yeah. Now, as I say, I believe that all these stories, they are again like a cake, an unreasoned cake, that when we actually, depending on how much the temperature that we give it, that is what is going to give it the rise. And of course, that also means we need to not embark. We need to. We also, it also depends on how we relate to the God set, the God who set. It's like putting a cake in the oven and you set the oven to a certain temperature. Now, not only you set the oven to a certain temperature, the shape or the pan that you put the mixture in also determines the shape of the cake, and ensuring that it doesn't rise and spill over on the edges of that pan. So that is very important. Now, speaking of pan, that might also mean that we need to consider the doctor. I said the doctor. Where is the doctor coming into it? Perhaps doctor, I don't know. But the God, I think this is the second time I've done this. That's how doctors have been like gods to us. So perhaps that's why. So the God who planted was the God with the pan. Yes, because the flour, the mixture, and all of those things are planted. So if we plant, we use the God who planted to plant the idea of baking a cake. We are dealing with the God who planted. and the God who set, because the God who set would be determining the position as well, location and position. So we are talking about those gods. Now, the God who created also has a part there too, because we perhaps, I don't know about what stage it comes in there as well, but we are talking about food. So if we are talking about food, eat, created, the one who ate, the one who eat, he's the one, of course, would be teaching us about what we eat. For instance, we eating a cake, that we are baking a cake. All right, so I've gone on. I think you get the point about when something is flat, that it is in a position, it's in a lying position. This is why people say Mother Eve or the serpent had lied to Eve. That meant it didn't, this is again, or the word deceive came in. The word deceive was what was used. So I'm working with the word lie now and really looking at, which we will do deceive too, but looking at how we are instrumental into giving rise to whatever it is that's going to be in the middle of whatever it is that we choose to believe. So basically, this is why Christ said, whatever you believe, whatever ye, Y-E is actually 12, whatever, because this is all mathematical. They all have a very strong significance. All these little ye and ye and so on in the Bible. Believe. Yes, that is if we really want to get to the core of the lie. If we really want to get to the core of it, which is funny enough that I should use the blue, which is the waters. How deep are we ready to go into the waters? Because whatever lies, it lies on the surface, but we are asked to delve in. That's why when we delve in, like the serpent, that's why it's the serpent. This S reminds me of a device. Is it like what you undo the tires, what you change your tires with? Is it a spanner? I think it's one of these curved spanners that you could just hold it and so it swivels. And that's what it's about, where we need to undo the lie and get down. The S takes you down or it takes you up, wherever you want to be at. If you want to remain there, okay. If you want to get to the bottom of the ocean, the S, the serpent, will take us there to see what lies in the bottom of our heart. This is why Christ also added, he said, whatever all the answers you want is in the heart. There is another part, he said, in the heart is all manner of ill, deceitfulness, adultery, lie, fornication, and all those things. So that's where Christ was also talking about the heart. So it means that you will not get to the truth of the matter unless you face the lie. So to face the lie is to uncover, to give rise, to chew on the fruit, which is what Mother Eve did. So this is why we are told to be like Eve, be like Eve. So to be the lie, of course, or Christ also said to believe is to have faith. If you have faith, he also said, as a grain of mustard seed. Of course, the mustard seed also is that which has the potential to become a huge tree. So that's the other thing that Christ was talking about. And it's all around number 8, because the lie equals 8. In fact, let's see what mustard is. but or seed, mustard. That's interesting. 3. And it's like, I say it's a must add. Must add. It's like a must add ingredients right there. That's how I see it. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 9, 4. Let's add this. This is 10. This is how I count. 14, 16, 16 and 4 is 20, 24. So that is 6. Just like we did with the word believe. So the word believe and mustard is really the same, because did I say 26? Let's just do this again. This is 10, 14, 15, 16, and 4 is 20, 24. 2 plus 4 is 6, right? So mustard. So 6 actually, when we do the numerical value for the word 6, it equals 7. Like I call it like severing something as well. But 6 is in direct correlation with the word believe, which is 33. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so there we are seeing that, and of course mustard is hot. That's another thing that Christ, we hadn't given much thought to. Christ used the mustard like a mustard. It couldn't be, it's like saying the seed is very small, and the word seed is actually 15. Of course, 15 is also Mother Eve. 1 plus 5 is 6. So, I haven't really got on to where I want to yet. So, SEED, this is 4, 5, 5, 1. Of course, 3 5s 15. And that, of course, is the seed. This is the new position we are requiring to take. This is where, it's new, but this is really end, because 5 is end. So basically we are beginning a new state here. We are now, of course, with the 8 here, we are dealing with this section here. In fact, I am going to have to go back and check the templates to numerology by Crime Queen as well, to see clearly how when this was being devised, that I could not touch or manipulate the position of these letters. That's where Mother Eve's power really lies. So she tells us about being in this new position. Of course, new is in the middle of numbers. When I say new, 5, middle of 1 to 9, this is where we are meant to be. And of course, there's the eye. It's like telling us we need to open our third eye. Of course, there are 2 eyes in the word sacrifice, but it takes us right here. This is the eye, taking us right here. This is how Mother Eve is teaching us how to eat of the fruit. Of course, there's the lie. It's flat on her tongue. The fruit, the word 8, it's lie. It's showing us in the mouth, which is number 5, is there. And then this is where we partake of the fruit, where we digest it, we assimilate all its all the fragrance as well, flavors and aroma and so on. And of course, there we know that this fruit makes us feel good. It makes us feel bright. It strengthens us. It illuminates us. This is what I call the Moringa as well, because I keep talking about Moringa. I'm passionate about Moringa. Moringa also equals 5. Now, it's also termed the tree of life. I know a lot of people on, or few people, or enough people on YouTube have made videos on Moringa. Have they done the numerical value for Moringa and find out that it is 5, like Mother Eve, as much as they call it the tree of life? I don't think so. I didn't see that. But if they did, that's all well and good too. Okay, so that is saying that that is the seed. That seed, if you take that seed, yes, particularly men. Okay, now I was saying earlier, talking about particularly men. In the book of Proverbs, the Bible, it makes me wonder why a lot of the teachings were really going towards my son, the teaching, my son, be wise. Do not let the woman on the corner of the street, entice you and lead you into the dark alleys, my son, and so on. And I ask myself, of course, just this is really in direct correlation with the story too. Why? Well, there's two other stories. What the story of Job, we see God never reprimanded Job's wife for saying, "Why don't you curse God and die?" That's one. That's one point. Then we see in the story of Adam and Eve also that God, well, he did say for the woman, he didn't really ask. Did he ask the woman why you ate the fruit? Because you have done such a thing. That's what it is. Because you have done such a thing. But there wasn't a question about it. There wasn't a question about it. Mother Eve really was playing different roles right there too. Which is something I have covered in the Crimson Light as well, before I even embarked on so much in-depth understanding about it, because this is a story that never really made much sense. But I don't want to drift too much from the point I want to make. Let's look at the time. The purpose of the lie, I have said this before, but the purpose of the lie is that it's like it gives us something to do. It gives us, that's where we have our work cut out, so to speak. We need to decipher what is the lie, or what do we call a lie, why and how does it serve us. It is in that process of working it out that we discover ourselves. So basically the lie is like a mirror, in a sense, of showing our ignorance. So the lie is something that's flat, and as long as we now see it's a lie, it means we have given it some kind of life, and we are beginning to really say, no, this is truly a lie. I want to get down to the bottom. This is why we say we want to get to the bottom of the lie. We want to get to the bottom. So in the bottom is there, that's where that hole is, and that's where we discover how good detectives we are, or how brave we are, or how much faith we've got, or how healed we become, or how much we are able to forgive. That is key. That is another key. Okay, so again, this is about position of the gods. I felt that this is necessary to help us when we do this and further go on to the characters or characteristics and position of the gods. We'll be able to understand this better. Now, to give you an example of this, there I've got to look up. If you're watching this, it's very likely you have heard of the name Masaru Emoto. Masaru Emoto. Now, this is the Japanese author, researcher, or whatever. He has numerous books on water. I would love to be able to read all of them talking about water, Mother Eve. But I thought, because I have been making the comparison on myself and seeing so many synchronicities with myself and Mother Eve, in the sense of what I am doing here, these presentations on this subject, I felt, and as I have said this before, I felt there must be a divine intervention or divine orchestration why I am in this position doing these videos, because of the numbers. the numbers are strikingly the same, beginning with the word waters. The word waters equals 23, as you would see 23 on here. Now, my name, my first name is 23. And so, and I'm a fifth child. And Mother Eve, of course, is 5. And I have given a lot of numbers a lot of words that equal 5, like anchor, like open, like lock. So in that sense too, it's as if my function as number 5 is saying I have the key to unlock all this. I have the key to open the kind of womb, so to speak. I have the key to open areas that had not been opened before. Well, nothing new under the sun, but open to this in this era before. So I have the Christ. Christ is also 5. The Christ spirit, which has been activated through the Kundalini in my body. My chakras have been activated. So chakras, I have done chakras, but I don't clearly remember now. It may be 20. It's interesting to see. Well, let's do this another time. But the word Christ equals 5. The word Kundalini equals 5. The word pineal gland, which is 2 words, equals 5. The word rabbi equals 5. The word pyramid equals 5. There are so many. Those words, they are key. Now, not to stray too much from that, I have this notion now that people's names and the people's names and the numerical vibration they carry is key to their function. Of course, I think we all know that. But if one pays attention, they would easily discover through their numerical vibration what their function is. Or, for instance, which of the gods that they associate with or are more connected with, and on what position. So, for instance, the god of light is 11. Now, I have 11 or in my makeup as well. So I'd like to say, yes, I have the light. But when we say, for instance, let's see, the God who saw is 7. The God who saw is 7 equals 7 of, I like the word was. So 7 is my soul urge number. So that tells me I am able to have spiritual discernment of being able to see the lie from the truth, or the good from the bad. I am able to have that discernment. Now, because of this thinking that was going on, and there's 23 on the clock, 23, because of that, I thought, let me just check out. This man has gone around doing all this lovely work on waters, and waters is 23. So I thought, let me just do the numerical value on his name. And there we go. There we go. Here we are. 411193. And I thought interesting numbers in here as well, like 911. It's like saying that part of him, he had to burst into something very evolutionary in that sense. It had to happen. It was in the books that Mother Eve really did or had written. Like, oh, I'm hoping, yeah, this is a... So it's like when it is said it was written, it is written. It is written. And it has the 3, of course, which forms the beautiful flower, the petal flowers. The E, which is like the 3, the M, the E, and the W. Okay. All right. So let's add this up. This is 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay. So it's 19. I must have miscounted. Okay. Have I got the spelling correct? Masaru. Okay. I wrote something. Okay. So I had 5 here instead of 1. Okay. Masaru. Okay. Let's do the other word, however. So there's from 1 to 9. But that too is really symbolical in a sense that he has the whole sacrificial element here, we could say, like numbers 1 to 9. Okay. Now here we have 6, 2, 6, 4, 5. Adding this together, this is 10 and 8, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, that would be 23. Okay, so that is 10, 18, 18 plus 5 is 23. 23. So this is what I was talking about, the 23. In fact, the first one calculation I did, which was incorrect, was also came up to 23, which is why I'm doing this. But however, 2 plus 3 is 5. Now that tells me that he is, while doing this, he was in his element or meant to do this work. This 5 with the 2 O's here as well. Okay, looking at the characteristics of that. Now, the other thing that happens here, when we add 1 plus 9 together, that gives us 10. Of course, 1 plus 0 is 1. Now, 10 in itself is perfect. That meant he would have the ability to see both polarities. He had the ingredients in him to be able to do masculine and feminine and really pioneer this work as he has done. So 1 plus 5 is 6. Just like we have with the said God. So he, in actual fact, connected with Mother Eve directly. We all of Mother Eve, but we are talking about, I believe that our roles or purpose is in the name or in the life path number, but the name, because we are talking about Mother Eve with words in this sense, it really does speak volume. So he has really got the said, because the S is like the water. He is working with water. And so he was working with the said God, which is 1, 1, 9, 4. Adding this together is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. So he really connected with Mother Eve right there. So I am feeling that as if we take time to understand the numbers and Mother Eve's language, for instance, we will know for sure, without conviction, we will be able to take rise that which had laid dormant within us, the lie that we had been fed. And of course, many keep feeding it with the junk food and the alcohol and all kinds of things that don't really serve the to being connected with that rise. And that's what Mother Eve is about. Mother Eve is about both the lie and taking the rise, which is the Kundalini rise. That's the activation. Mother Eve is seeking, just like the mother feeding the baby and the baby digesting the food, the porridge, whatever it is, and is growing and developing and is happy, or is displaying no adverse reaction to whatever the mother is feeding. Likewise, Mother Eve is relying on us to be able to participate that way, that we do not have that adverse effect, that we are digesting the teachings that she is ready to give us, the structures and constructs of her makeup, so we can get to learn and activate the third eye, the kundalini, have discernment. That way we are able to put our hands up and say, yes, let us make man in our image after our likeness. We want to know that we are leaving a legacy, the legacy, a leg, that's interesting, leg, C. I think the word sea comes to mind, like SEA. Okay, so again, that is the ocean we are talking about. So everything goes back to the ocean in that sense. When we say the ocean of life, the ocean of that which Mother Eve is, infinite whole, infinite source. So we are equipped to be able to do that. That's what we want to do, and that's what Mother Eve calls us to do. So basically, yes, I have been talking about the fifth and eighth dimension. The eighth, now there are people who are on the fifth and eighth dimension, and they have to find their role again. Perhaps there is a partaking that have to happen to find out what that role is that we are meant to act. But as I say, if we study the name and the numbers, we will find the answer in that. The words is, and give rise to it. How we act, like in the word believe, how much faith we apply, or conviction we apply to it, or the tag we place on it, that's what we are giving rise to. Just like in the Matrix, we are the agents. We are Mother Eve's agents in this sense. We are also the partakers of whatever, or if of the cake as well that we are baking. So that is like we are in and out of it. We are within and we are without. Yes. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have really found something in there. If you like this presentation, click the like button and share. And remember, we are igniting ourselves to propelling us into that dimension. So every day counts, whether we are in the third, fifth, whatever it is. Remember that we are moving in cycles. It's like going on a trip, and you want to make sure that, you know, I've got everything I need here. So whether you like the place or not, that I can make the choice whether I want to come back or not, basically. So as I say, if you like this presentation, give us a thumbs up and share, and spill over with love.